Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so what we're gonna be doing on this cut is we're gonna be doing finger length on top with the shears and like a low fade. We're gonna add some enhancements to the edge up. Let's get my boy Chewy looking right. Let's go. Alright, so as you can see right here, guys, what I'm doing is I'm saturating my client's hair on top. Like I said, we are going to be doing finger length on top with the shears. So basically, finger length just means anything that comes out from my fingers when I'm picking the hair up, when I'm parting the hair and setting in my section. So you can't really see from this angle, but everything that's coming up longer than my fingers, I'm making sure to clip off, and I'm coming all the way forward with that. Y'all know how I do it. I like to set my guideline coming forward first. And then we're gonna come all the way forward, and then I'm coming back a little bit because the way his hair grows and his hair texture, it like poofs straight out. So instead of me setting my sections in the opposite way, right after that, I decided to set in another guideline. That way I have a little more, a little more of a guideline to see when I'm coming the opposite way. So here I am setting my sections coming the opposite way, coming back, to the crown of his head. And as you can see, anything that's longer than my fingers, guys, I'm making sure I cut off. And so I basically have two guidelines for this, meaning I have an initial guideline that I set in with, with the shears coming forward, and then I know we are doing finger length, so anything that is longer than my fingers is getting cut off anyway. So technically, you don't really need a guideline when you do finger length on top, but it's good to have it that way you can see and make sure everything is nice and even. And as you can see, we're just doing this all around my client's head. We started off in the middle, worked our way to the right, and now we're working our way to the left. And like I was saying, guys, my client's hair, it literally like grows like straight out, it sticks straight up. So it took me a while to perfect this man's haircut, but I think for the most part we finally got it looking good. Here these past, for about a good year or so, I've been cutting his hair, for a good amount of time, but he's been changing it up. But here recently he's been getting finger length and a low fade, and I feel that I finally like mastered it perfect, I think. But what you see me doing here, guys, I'm taking my 50 cal BMG. I got my number 4 guard on my clippers, and as you can see, I'm coming right up to that parietal ridge. And since we are doing a low fade, I'm making sure to drop it in the back, and then we're gonna just debulk the whole side, from the left side, the back, and now the right side. And we're doing the same thing right when we get to that parietal area. I'm making sure I float my clipper up and away. And the good thing, well, I guess it's good in this instance, the good thing about his hair texture is, like I said, it grows straight out, so you can kind of freehand it a little bit with any guard that's on there. So I think that's kind of a good thing, and what kind of makes this a little easier for me. So what I'm doing here is, I believe this is my number 5 or my 6 guard. I'm not 100% sure. So normally finger length for me is about a 6, give or take, and maybe like a 6.5 or a 7. So I decided to come, like I said, I don't know if this is my 5 or my 6 guard, but what I'm doing is I cleaned up the front of his lineup because I know sometimes those hairs stick up too much, and I'm using that to also debulk some of the sides, basically right above what I did with that number 4 guard. So now I'm taking my wall detailers, and what I'm doing is I'm setting in my bald guideline. Like I said, guys, we are doing a low fade, so I'm making sure, I start off in front of his ear. I leave a little bit of that C-cup area, come above his ear, and then as you can see here, guys, I'm dropping it down in the back below the occipital bone. And then we're just gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. So as you can see, I like to create my guidelines this way, coming upward over the ear and then coming back down behind the ear. And that's just the way I like to do my low fades, guys. Me personally, I feel that it looks good. Everyone does their low fades different, but for me, I like doing it this way, and I feel that my clients, like it, because I do got a lot of clients that get low fades. And all you see me doing here, guys, I'm just connecting both sides in the back of my client's head. That way this guideline is set all the way around. Alright, so now I'm taking my Barberless FX3 shaver, and all I'm doing is coming up, to that line that I set in with my trimmer. However, the closer I get to that line, I am making sure that I relieve some pressure, and that I'm using a slight flick out motion. That way I don't create too harsh of a line. Like I said before, guys, I know some people are scared to go up to that line, but if you use a flick out motion, relieve some pressure, it doesn't leave too harsh of a line. And then I like making sure I come up to that line, because I like to make sure I get it as short as I can, all the way up to that bald line. That way, it lasts my clients a little longer. So now I have my number 3 guard on my clipper. My lever is all the way open. And as you can see, what I'm doing here, guys, I'm coming up right below what I did with that number 4 guard earlier on in the cut. And I'm just, just floating that clipper up and away, basically doing some down fading, because I will be doing a slightly different technique. And I'll be making sure to walk y'all through it, obviously, when I'm doing it, telling y'all exactly what I'm doing. And this is my 3 guard lever open. And then I believe I'm going to close my lever and come right below that. Yeah, so I just closed my lever, and now I'm coming right below what I did with my 3 guard open. And I did just open my guard, just doing some small lever play, not too much detail work, just a little bit to clean up some of these dark areas that I see. So now what I'm doing, guys, I'm switching my whole game plan up. I'm going in with my 1.5 guard lever all the way closed, and I'm setting in a guideline in between that bottom guideline and the parietal ridge. And I just decided to do it like this just to show y'all a different technique. I normally start off fading from the bottom going up, but I decided to switch it up a little bit for this video. So like I said, this is my 1.5 guard, and I'm setting in my guideline in between the bottom guideline and the parietal ridge. And then I just open my lever, and I'm pushing this line up slightly, just enough to where, it fades into that 1.5 guard lever open. So now I'm going in with just my clipper. No guard is attached to my clipper. I just have my lever all the way open, and I'm setting in my next guideline. And I'm going to be coming up about 1/2 inch or so. You don't want to come up too high. And I will be taking out this line differently. Normally I start to fade down, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fade up on this side of my client's head. I think I do it on the right side also. All right, so now that line is put in, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my lever all the way closed, and I'm barely attacking that bottom line. Like, as you can see, I'm coming up, slightly, just enough to get that bottom line out. And then I'm gonna open my clipper 1 notch, come up a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna open my clipper notch by notch until I get all the way to where my lever is open. And I should be at where I put in that initial bald guide, or not that bald guideline, but put in that initial line with my lever open. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't lose y'all. So I set in my guideline, my bald guideline, I did my 1.5, then I went in with my lever open, setting a guideline in between those 2 guidelines, and then I took out that, I'm saying guideline a lot. Then I took out that line at the bottom with my lever closed, and then I opened my lever notch by notch until I got all the way to when my lever was open. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out that top guideline. So I'm going in with my 2 lever open. So this makes this a 2.5, and I am doing some more down fading. I'm trying to get away these dark areas that you see at the top of this guideline, and then I'm gonna close my lever all the way, and then I'm gonna do the same exact thing that you see me doing right now, but however, I will be coming slightly lower than what I just did with my 2 with the lever open. Now remember, guys, you want to make sure you're using a slight flick out motion, especially on this type of hair, so you can float the clipper a lot. And the reason why I say especially on this type of hair is I just feel that it gives it a nice, nice transition when you do that effect with this type of hair. All right, so now I'm using my 1 guard lever open, and I'm coming up another section. However, this really shouldn't leave any guidelines, because remember, guys, I did use my 1.5 earlier, so it may leave a slight faint little line, but I'm gonna try my best not to leave a line. And as you can see, I'm just coming up about 1/2 inch or so, and then I close my lever all the way, and I'm really just attacking that bottom, the bottom of that guideline. And like I said, guys, this is a different technique that I normally use, but what I'm saying, I just wanted to switch it up for y'all. And I do haircuts like this every once in a while. Like I said, I just like to switch up my techniques and my guard system and my clippers. As barbers, I feel that sometimes we get bored doing the same exact thing. So that's one reason why I buy so many clippers, and then that's another reason why I like to buy different guards and use different tools. I feel that it keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me learning and trying to figure out faster and better ways to do haircuts. So now I'm going in with my 0 guard or my 1/16 guard, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just trying to get rid of the discrepancies at the bottom of this fade. Basically, you know, everything at the bottom of this blend that I see that's dark, I'm going in with either my lever open or closed. I'm just, you know, adjusting that lever as needed to try to get rid of these dark areas, using some corner blending, basically just trying to get this blend to come together. And now I'm going back in with my number 4 guard, just cleaning up the top of this fade, and now I'm doing the same exact thing with my 3 guard. And as y'all can see, this blend is coming together. I feel that it's looking pretty blurry. And once again, guys, like, I know I say this on a lot of my haircuts, but this dude has some hard hair to cut, you know what I'm saying? And whether y'all know it or not, you know, I feel like I have some of the hardest canvases to cut, and I feel like I do a good job doing it. But anyways, guys, as you can see, I got my wall detailer in my hand, and all I'm doing is I'm lining up my client. I started off in the middle of his hairline, or I'm sorry, in the middle of his forehead, in the middle of his hairline, in the middle of his forehead. I set in my first initial guideline, and I started to work my way all the way over into that vertical bar. And I'm thinking I want to put a video out to why I decided to use my detailers again. It'd been a while before I used my detailers, maybe about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. So I may be putting a video out soon why I decided to bring these things back out. And I'll let y'all know here shortly if I'm gonna do that or not. I think I will. But anyways, guys, now I'm going back into my blend. Now that my lineup is there, I can actually see this blend a little better, and I felt that I needed to slap that number 2 guard on my clipper, do some detail work. Here's my number 1.5 guard. I believe my lever is open, but you can go with your lever open or closed. Just make sure you're very careful and you're barely tapping these dark areas that you see. That way you don't create any, you know, any harsh areas or any harsh lines, or, you know, take away too much hair. All right, so now I'm moving on to the opposite side, guys. We're gonna be doing the same exact thing. This is my 1.5 guard. I'm setting in, you know, I guess you can say kind of like a guideline, but I'm also doing some debulking. So I'm going in with my 1.5 in between that bottom guideline and the parietal area. Then I opened my lever all the way, came up slightly more, a little bit more. Now I'm going in with my 3 guard lever open, doing some down fading technique. Because remember, guys, I debulked the sides with a 4. So now this is the number 3 guard lever open, and then I'm adjusting my lever closed and coming right below that with the number 3 guard. And now I'm going in with my lever open, setting in another guideline. And as you can see, I still have a bald guideline at the bottom, and I'm gonna take that away, doing the same exact steps that I did on the opposite side. Meaning, I'm going in with my lever all the way closed, and then I'm opening my lever notch by notch and moving my way up slightly. So by the time I get to where I set in my guideline with the lever open, I will be there by the time my lever is open. So as you can see now, I got 2 guidelines in my client's hair, and I'm using the 2 with the lever open to try to get rid of that top guideline. And I know it's not gonna get rid of it, and that's fine. I did with my lever open, and now I'm going in with my lever closed. And this should get rid of it. There may be a little bit of dark areas still in there, and I may have to come back and attack it a little more. So as you can see, I have my 3 guard right now. Reason for me putting my 3 guard is I felt that I created some slight lines with my 2, so I went in with my 3 guard to clean that up, and now I'm going in with my 1.5 guard, cleaning up a little bit of that guideline that you could still see. You know, it was there, but it wasn't like a super harsh line, but I decided that I wanted to clean it up a little more. So here's my 1 guard lever open. I went in, started fading into that 1.5 guard, and then I closed my lever all the way. And now this is my 0 guard. I know I'm moving a little quick, guys, but it's because y'all know I always speed up the opposite side of my client's hair. Or I'm sorry, the second side of my client's hair I always speed up. So I'm trying to still talk y'all through what I'm doing, because I feel that, you know, since it's a new system and new steps. I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. Since it's a new system and new steps, I feel that I need to be a little more, you know, explain to y'all a little better of what's going on. But if y'all know what color guards, you know, I have, if y'all been watching your boy for a while, y'all know what my color guards equate to. Here is my 0 guard, cleaning up some discrepancies. So all I'm doing is some detail work now, guys. And now I'm just going in with my clipper, no guard on my clipper, and I'm just cleaning up the bottom of my client's fade, trying to bring this blend together. Here is my wall detailers, taking away that bottom line. And then I'm moving on to my client's edge up. As you can see, I started where I left off on the opposite side, and I'm just moving my way over little by little until I get to this side's vertical bar. I'm gonna set in my client's vertical bar and then set in the C cup. So another thing I want you to know, guys, I will be doing a video again this year, letting y'all know what my favorite trimmer of this year was, what I'm gonna be going into next year using, and then I'm gonna be doing the same thing with clippers. So basically, what my go-to clipper for next year will be and what my go-to trimmer for next year will be. So y'all make sure to stay tuned for that, guys. And I do have a comparison video coming soon between the Babyliss Low Pro FX and the Stylecraft, the Stylecraft Rebel. So y'all stay tuned, make sure to hit that subscribe button if y'all ain't already hit it. Make sure to like this video, guys. You know, I'm always trying to come out with different content for y'all. And even though I'm putting out a lot of haircut tutorials, I'm using different clippers, different guards, and different techniques, so that way I feel that y'all can learn a little more from that. Alright guys, so on this back side of the blend, we're doing the exact same thing. However, you're gonna see me go back in and attack this a little differently. And the reason for that is when you do a low fade, or any fade really, the back really, how can I say it? The back is like a major important detail, because if you don't blend this in properly in the back, it's not gonna look like a complete full one haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna look like 2 or 3 different haircuts. It's gonna look like you did one side at a time, or you did one side with one clipper and one side with the other. And even though I'm using the same clipper, it can look like different haircuts if I'm not doing the same exact steps or coming up high enough or low enough with the clippers or with whatever guard. So to help you get a full vision of the haircut, I'm gonna show y'all what I like to do. So as y'all can see, I'm going through my normal steps that I went in through on both sides. And I'm taking my 2 guard right here, and I think after this clip you're gonna see me turn my client a little more, and I'm gonna start to fade the back into the right side a little more. Yeah, so as you can see here, now I'm making sure that the back ties into the right side of my client's head. So I'm going in with my 1.5 guard, and basically what I'm doing is I'm stretching that blend a little bit, because if you can pay attention, or if you can see towards the back, it looked a little dark. You know, it looked like it dropped too much, so I wanted to bring that up a little bit. So I went with my 1.5, my 2 guard, and now I'm going back in with my number 1 guard, adjusting my lever as needed to get rid of these dark areas and make this blend all look like it's one blend instead of 2 or 3 different blends. And once I get done with this side of the cut, I'm gonna do the same thing to the opposite side. So that's what I'm doing here, guys. I'm making sure the back blends well to the left side. And as you can see, the back looks pretty blended. All I'm doing is detailing it and making sure that the back blends with the left side, because I already know the back blends in with the right side, because I just did that right now. So now I need to make sure that the back blends in with the left. So once again, guys, I really hope that y'all appreciate this tutorial. Like, this one took me a little longer than usual. I had some footage of the whole haircut. I edited the whole thing, and I'm just trying to let y'all know exactly what I do with my haircuts. So now what I'm doing, guys, I'm going in with my blending shears, using a shear over comb, getting rid of any dark areas with these blending shears to make the blend look blurrier. Alright, so now I decided to take a number 4 guard and go over the front of my client's lineup, basically because I just felt that it was a little too bushy still. And now what I'm doing here, guys, I'm adding them enhancements to my client's hairline. Remember how I like to say, how I like to do my enhancements, guys. I don't like to put too much paint on them. As you can see, I'm not putting too much. I'm just putting enough to where it looks nice and sharp, but not to where it looks fake. I see a lot of times, a lot of barbers on Instagram and YouTube like to oversaturate their client's hairline with the paint to where it starts to look glossy and like it's shining. And you don't want to be able to tell that you used paint on your client's hairline. You want it to look sharper, but you don't want it to look like you added a lot of paint. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do this, and then as you can see me, what I did right there is I put some hairspray on my client, and now I'm gonna go in with some hair fibers. And the reason for this is I feel hair fibers looks a little more natural than the paint. So I put the paint on there, and then I put a little bit of hair fibers on there, and I feel that it looks more like a natural look. And then I just hit it with some hairspray a little more. I blow dry a little bit on top, that way it can dry it. And now I'm going over everything with my trimmers once again, just to make sure everything is nice and in line. Alright, so now that that is done, what I'm doing is I'm going over my client's lineup with my razor. And this is basically it for this video, guys. This is basically what I do for like a full client's haircut from beginning to end. Like, yes, I edited it and I sped it up, but I try to show y'all everything on this video, guys. So I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. As you can see, I'm just lining him up with that razor, trying to get everything nice and sharp. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this cut so far, guys. Alright, guys, so check it out. This is how my boy Chewy walked into the shop looking. He comes like every 2 or 3 weeks. And this is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. Remember guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area and trying to get a haircut from your boy, you can go to tankbechopping.com. You can schedule an appointment there, and make sure to put in the comment section when you're scheduling the appointment that you want it to be for YouTube, and I'll make sure to, I'll try and record it for YouTube guys. Sometimes I can't, but I'll try my best to get it done for YouTube. But once again guys, let me know what y'all think about this cut. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go.